x to the fourth plus 6x to the third plus 10x squared plus 6x plus 9. All right, so we need to find all the zeros and find the factors. We could go through the process of plus or minus p over q, find the ones that work. And our ideal is because it's an x to the fourth, I need to have four factors and four potential solutions. All right, so doing plus or minus p over q would work, but what we can also do, and at times I will allow you to do this, is we can draw a graph. All right. If you graph this in the calculator on your computer somewhere, somehow, you're going to get a shape that looks like this. All right. This graph does not cross the x-axis. All it does is touch the x-axis at -3. We touched on this concept a little bit. When it touches and doesn't cross, we're going to get a double root, meaning this is the same answer twice. So I'm going to have an answer of -3 and -3 twice, giving me two of my factors, x plus 3, x plus 3. All right, so I'm going to do synthetic division with -3 twice. 1, -3, 3, -3, that's -9, 1, -3, 3, -9, 0. There we go, there's one of them. Now I'm going to do it again with the other of my double root. And I get x squared plus 1 left over. I'm going to solve. And I get plus or minus I. So those are my other two solutions. I and -I. Factors, and then my four solutions, but I'm only going to write my -3 once. So I'm going to say -3I and -I, or -3 plus or minus I. So the idea for this problem is we can go to the calculator to get our good ones when I permit it. All right? When it touches and doesn't cross, it's a double root, and it's going to count twice. So I have to take that out twice to get down to my x squared. All right, now we're going to find the polynomial with the given zeros. I'm going to tell you there's a function that has zeros at 4 and 3i. What we're going to do is we're going to find the function. All right, because of my complex numbers come in conjugate pairs, I'm going to get -3 also. My i's always come in pair. So I'm going to write my factors. And then I'm going to FOIL. To make my life easier, I'm going to FOIL these two. These are a difference of squares. That's what a conjugate pair is a difference of squares. So I don't have to do all of it. I only have to do the first and the last, which is x squared minus 9i squared, which I squared changes the sign. I get x squared plus 9 times my x minus 4. I'm going to FOIL again. And I'm going to change the order to make it look better. You get x to the third minus 4x squared plus 9x minus 36. All right, so you can take it. Because I have I have also a -I. Write your factors and solve. For this one, same idea. I also have 1 plus I squared sub 2. So I'm going to say x minus 5, opposite. X minus 1 plus I squared sub 2, which is the opposite. And x minus 1 minus I squared sub 2. All right, we're going to have to FOIL that back. It's going to give me 9 terms. X times the back, -1 times the back, and I squared sub 2 times the back. So I'm going to get x squared minus x plus xi squared sub 2. Well, that's a minus in the back. All right? It's a minus xi squared sub 2. My next one is going to be minus x plus 1 plus I squared sub 2. And then plus xi squared sub 2 minus I squared sub 2 minus I squared times 2. Because square root of 2 times square root of 2 is 2. All right, that's my FOIL. For this to work, Everything that looks ugly has to disappear. Cancels. I squared 2 minus I squared 2 is cancel. All right, back here, negative I squared times 2, that I squared is going to change my sign, and that's going to end up with a plus 2. So now, x squared minus 2x plus 3 times x minus 5. I need you to show me that work. Show me all 9 terms. If you want to draw it as a box, those little checkerboard things you guys use, that's fine also. Now, when I FOIL again, x to the third minus 2x squared plus 3x minus 5x squared plus 10x minus 15. X to the third minus 7x squared plus 13x minus 15. And that's my function. Not difficult, just easy to make a careless mistake. As we go through, if you need to, pause it if I go too fast. All right, I'm asking you to find the other zeros. F of x equals x to the third minus 7x squared minus x plus 87. One of the zeros I'm giving you is 5 plus 2i. All right, automatically, 5 minus 2i is the other one, which means I have a single one that I have to find. So what we're going to do is I need to take both of these answers out of this so I can get it down to an x. You could do synthetic division, but it's going to be very, very ugly. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this and write it as a polynomial like we did in the last section. So what we could do, which we're not going to do because I want to show you something different, we could write it as a factor, we could distribute, we get an x squared, blah, 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 whatever that happens to be. All right, but I'm not going to do it that way. I want to show you something different. This is how I do them, and it may help you. If it doesn't, do it the way with the factors. All right, so the two x's I have are x plus 2i and x minus 2i. What I am going to do is I'm going to move everything to the left, and I'm going to get rid of the imaginary part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract the 5. To get rid of the I, I'm going to square both sides. So when I square a positive and negative, it comes out to be positive. 2 squared is 4. I squared is negative 1. The left side, we need to FOIL. Or a shortcut is we square the first term, square the last term, then we're going to multiply them together, which is negative 5x, and double it, we get negative 10x. All right. FOIL this, or do the shortcut, square the first, square the last, multiply and double. It's a quick, easy way to do it if you see it. I can talk about it in class if I need to. Then over here, that turns into a negative 4. Now I'm going to move the 4. Get x squared minus 10x plus 29. All right, so I just made a polynomial out of that. All right, let me move this over so I can do the rest of the work. Now, I'm going to take that out. When I do this, if I don't get a remainder of 0, I made a mistake. All right, so I'm going to put an x up there. Distribute it. I'm going to change my exponents. So I have an x to the third minus 10x squared plus 29x. I'm going to subtract 3x squared minus 30x plus 87. So now I'm going to put a plus 3. 3x to the third minus 30x plus 87. I subtract, I get my remainder of 0. So that tells me my other factor is x plus 3, which is my solution, negative 3. So the idea, I need to write these two solutions as a polynomial, either by foiling, writing them as factors and foiling, or what I do is I call this like reverse completing the square. Then you long divide it out. I had an x to the third, I take out an x squared, so there's my third factor that's left over. All right, same idea. All right, x to the fourth minus 2x to the third minus 3x squared plus 12x minus 18. This is not 100% of the time, but I would say 99% of the time when you have the square root of 6, more than likely you also have the negative square root of 6 as one of your solutions. So I'm going to take these. I'm going to get rid of the square root by squaring both sides. A positive square root and a negative square root is positive. When I square square root of 6, I get 6. So I can take x equals the square root of 6, and I'm going to hope that negative square root of 6 also works, which it will. So now I'm going to long divide that out. And it better go in evenly. When I do this, I'm going to match up the right pieces. I'm going to bring down the pieces that I don't need. And when I subtract, that first term better cancel. Looking at these two, I'm going to put a negative 2x. Cancels. So those are my other two pieces. All right, so it divided evenly, so I have two of them. I was given this one. Most of the time that one's going to work also. So now I'm going to finish this by completing the square to find my other two. And here are my other two solutions. I's always come in pairs. Radicals or roots, your irrational answers, most of the time come in pairs. So when you get square root of 6, we're just going to assume that negative square root of 6 also crosses. All right, so the whole idea of the lesson is you're given an x to the some power. You need to get it down to an x squared so you can work with it. Plus or minus p over q. Use a calculator to find a good one, or use the given ones to find it also. All right, so that's the rest of the lesson. It's quick. Hopefully you paused it and wrote down all the notes and understand what's going on. If you have any questions, please, please, please send me a message. Ask me so we can get it all straight. Enjoy.